I live in Oak Haven City, and like thousands of others, my day begins in the metro station. It's always the same, loud, crowded, anonymous. But a few weeks ago, I started noticing him tucked away in a corner near the escalators. Was an old homeless man. He held a stained paper cup, but never asked for money. He just stood there, his dark eyes following the people who hurried past. And he muttered. The first time I really heard him, a woman in a bright red coat walked by. The old man's eyes locked onto her, and I clearly heard him whisper a single word: stone. It was so strange I figured he was just unwell, talking nonsense. A few moments later, a young guy in a hoodie rushed past, late for his train. The old man watched him go and mumbled, "Glass." Glass? Stone? It was just random rambling. I told myself to ignore him, that it was none of my business. But the way he said the words, it wasn't angry or crazy. It was quiet, like he was just stating a fact. I got on my train, trying to forget about it, but the strangeness of it stuck with me. The next day, I couldn't shake the feeling. I arrived at the station earlier than usual, driven by a pull, a need to see if the old man was there again. He was standing in the exact same spot with the same empty stare and the same paper cup. I bought a coffee, positioning myself against a pillar where I could watch him, unnoticed. A pang of guilt ran through me. I was treating him like a spectacle, but my curiosity was too strong. An elderly man shuffled past with a cane. Elias, the old man, leaned forward slightly, whispering the word. Wood. Wood. The man had a wooden cane? So maybe, just maybe. Elias was naming what he saw. Then a woman in a business suit walked by. He whispered, "Steel?" There was nothing steel on her. That I could see her briefcase was leather. Her shoes black, no pattern, no logic. Each day that week, it was the same. I'd hear him say, cloth, clay, wire. Each word delivered with flat certainty. I became obsessed at work. I tried to connect the words to the people, but there was nothing, just random, mundane materials. And that, somehow, made it even creepier. By the second week, my curiosity had turned into a low-grade fear. This wasn't just random muttering. There was a system to it. I was sure of it. But I couldn't figure it out. I started to imagine all sorts of things. Maybe he had some kind of power. Maybe he could see something about people that no one else could. Their past, their future, their true nature. The thought sent a chill down my spine. Every time I walked past him, I thought about the words again. Stone, glass, wood, steel. They were all raw materials, building blocks. It felt significant, but the meaning was just out of my reach. The fear was starting to get to me. I even thought about taking a different route to work, but I couldn't. I felt like I was on the edge of discovering some terrible secret, and I had to know what it was. My commute was no longer just a boring routine. It was a daily dose of suspense. I would hold my breath as I walked through the station, wondering what word he might have for me. Most days, he didn't even seem to notice me, but I always noticed him. One morning, the uncertainty became unbearable. I had to find out. My heart pounded in my chest as I left the coffee shop. Heading straight for him, I clutched a few dollars in my hand, hoping it might persuade him to talk. He was staring at the floor, but as I approached, his head snapped up. His dark, sunken eyes met mine. They were clear. He wasn't looking past me or through me. He was looking right at me. For a few seconds, he was silent. The station's noise seemed to fade away. Then his lips parted, and in that gravelly, factual whisper, he uttered one word: flesh. A cold sweat broke out on my neck. That word was different. The others were for objects, for materials. This one was me. I dropped the money into his cup. My hand shaking. "I hear you," I said. My voice barely a whisper. "I hear you say words to people. What does it mean? Can you see something?" The old man, Elias, didn't answer right away. He just looked at me. Then for the first time, I saw him smile. It wasn't a friendly smile. It was thin and broken, showing yellowed teeth. It was the most unsettling expression I had ever seen. "I can see things, yes," he rasped, his voice dry like dead leaves. "It's a gift, of a sort. Not the future, not the past, nothing so grand." "Then what is it?" I pressed, needing to know. "What do the words mean?" He leaned in a little closer, and the smell of old dirt and rain filled my nose. His smile widened just a little bit. "It's simple," he said, his voice dropping even lower. "I just see what they'll be buried in." I stared at him, my mind racing to process what he just said. Stone, a collapsing building, maybe glass, a terrible car accident, wood, a simple coffin, steel, a train, a shipwreck. It all clicked into place. In the most horrifying way possible, I felt sick. I started to back away, stumbling over my own feet. I ran from the station that day. I didn't even go to work. I just went home and sat in the dark. I keep thinking about the words he said. The woman in the red coat, stone. The old man with the cane, wood. And then I think about the word he said to me, the one that was different from all the others. He called me flesh. I still don't know what it means, and I am absolutely terrified to find out.